Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Lords of Empyre, Celestial Messiah. This is a one-shot ancillary tie-in kind of thing, and this might be the best one so far. This was a really messed up book, but this was probably one of the best ones so far. I've been saying that the tie-ins are better than the main event. That's really what's been keeping me going through this event. You need the main event to know what's going on. But these things... yeah, this gives a lot of answers. And I don't like the questions that were asked to get to these answers, but hey, let's get going. Let's talk about who made this comic book, and then we'll talk about the book itself. So the writer is Alex Packnadel. The artist is Alex Linz. The Alexes, nice. Matt Yackey on colors and letters by VC's Ariana Maher. There we go. It's only the second time I've seen her lettering in this. So cover by Rod Reese and Joshua Cassera and Dean White do a variant cover. Graphic design by Carlos Lau. Let's go. So Coy is doing his evil stuff, and yes, it's evil stuff. Like, he's definitely the bad guy in this. And this is basically a mom and dad don't love me anymore story, or whatever. Like, this is a child messed up story. I haven't enjoyed what I've been seeing from Coy in this, and they've really been doing a big switch, right? Like, a Messiah is supposed to come and do good things and help people. The trick is, when you're called a Messiah, anything that you do is going to be seen as good by some people, usually by your own people, usually, not always. Ask Jesus about that. That being said, this was... So he's been trying to get the attention of his father for a long time. The problem is we don't actually know what his father is. If we've been reading the old Kree Skrull Wars and we've been reading the origins of the Celestial Madonna and all that stuff, we know that this is not the actual swordsman. It's actually a spirit of the Kotati, and it's a really important one, you know, blah, 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 whatever. But it took the shape of the swordsman to become a little bit more pleasing to the eye of the Celestial Madonna, and that's Mantis. Okay, what if we spun all that on its head? What if we flipped all of that? Because here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to start judging it. The good and the bad of it, okay? And I'm actually going to make it more of a question, but judgment will be there. What if Mantis has actually been causing all of this to happen, and it got a little bit out of control? Because Mantis is the epitome of good. We go back and we see a time in... I think it was Avengers number 115. So I was a huge fan of the Avengers books. All right, and their story, I hung on to those stories when I was a kid. While most people were reading X-Men, I was reading X-Men too, but I was also reading Avengers. And not just a little bit of Fantastic Four. Anyway, those were always the three main team books for me. Till the Defenders came along. Anyway, so with this one, we saw when Mantis and the Swordsman were trying to get into the Avengers Mansion and trying to reapply, well, Swordsman was trying to reapply to be an Avenger, and he'd already betrayed them once before doing that, and then it seemed like he was betraying them again with Mantis. That's the issue where we saw, like I said, I think it was issue 115. It's a fairly important issue, believe it or not, where they the Avengers have to fight this big thing. And that's when Mantis goes and she like beats up Thor and she beats up Captain America. They were distracted, so I don't want to hear that crap. Swordsman technically beats up Black Panther, but not before Black Panther gives him a 1-4. And it's only because he didn't murder him that Swordsman was able to overcome him. But the way he overcame him was actually really cool. I mean, he just like, boom! Like the way he held that sword, man, was wicked. All good books. All Steve Englehart, who cares more about Mantis than anybody else on the face of the planet. I could prove it by the idea that he took Mantis over several different comic book companies. Yeah, there's a reason why she kept changing color. So when I see Mantis, kind of like we see the history, why, or when they returned, why Swordsman actually showed up and he had so much bravado about him. It's because outside he was like, nah, they're not going to trust me. They're clearly not going to trust me. You got to go back and read that issue. You got, like, I got to go back and reread that issue. But I remember he showed up and he was just so damn cocky, and it's like, wow. But in here, there's a completely different take on the idea that, yeah, sure, he was cocky, but what was he like not in front of the Avengers? Because we only saw it from the Avengers' eyes. Now we're seeing it through Mantis's eyes, and his in some ways. That was pretty cool. There's a really good take on an old story, but several old stories. Histories of Koi when he was a kid trying to fit in, how he fit in. He was only with his mom. I know that anybody who's got who comes from a broken home, like mom and dad aren't together, you're living with one and not the other, usually living with mom. You start to miss your dad. You idolize your dad. He's never done anything bad in his life. He's always done good things. It's mom's fault that these things aren't working out. And if you're living with the other, it's probably the exact same thing, right? That is the case in here. Now, I didn't enjoy seeing Koi beating the living crap and trying to kill his mom. Don't worry. Read the comic book, you'll understand. But he was actually trying to hurt his mom. She screamed before he knew that this wasn't actually her. Also screamed afterwards, showing that she was actually feeling pain. He was beating the living crap and trying to kill his mother, torturing his mother. Koi right now is like the ultimate bad guy. You're going to need a lot more than mommy issues and daddy issues and acceptance issues to get Koi out of this one now. So while this was a really good book, understand, it really solidified, it cements Koi as the bad guy in this. And I don't like that. I really genuinely don't. He is supposed to be the Celestial Messiah. I'm going to keep on reading. I'm going to hope that we go someplace. I'm remembering Avengers The Crossing. And I'm remembering the stuff that they did to Mantis there. That they've been trying to retcon ever since. Like, oh, that wasn't actually Koi and Mantis and the Swordsman, so don't worry about it. No. I know what I read. And it was meant to be Mantis. She was the bad guy. And fans almost unanimously hated that story, those stories, those issues. So them kind of repeating that now, you damn well better know what the hell you're doing. Because you will get a hell of a backlash. Anyway, guys, going to read some more of these books, see what's up, and I'll talk to you guys later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Like the video. Class dismissed.